Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about colostrum. So, what is colostrum? Colostrum is the first milk produced by a mammal after parturition. And it usually has like a thick, sticky, like and red yellowish appearance to it, which is like of course different than regular milk would. So, what's in colostrum? It contains a high level of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. So the amount of these substances will decrease with subsequent milkings, except for the carbohydrate lactose, which is in a relatively low amount in colostrum and will increase as it gets more to normal milk. And here we can see you can see the color difference, and you can kind of see that it will be thicker. So, also in colostrum we have growth factors, and the main difference between milk and colostrum is the amount of immunoglobulins in it. So, and immunoglobulins are antibody proteins that fight disease, and in colostrum it makes up 70 to 80% of the protein versus only 1% in milk. And there are three major classes of immunoglobulins. You have immunoglobulin G, or IgG, which is the most abundant type of antibody. It's found in all body fluids and helps just generally protect against bacterial and viral infections. You have IgA, which is found in mostly the mucous membranes and the linings of respiratory passage and GI tract and saliva and tears. And you have IgM, which is found in blood and lymph, and is the main fight off of new infections. So what makes colostrum important is that it provides the baby animals with an immune protection, a passive immune protection that they don't have since their immune system isn't developed yet. And it's crucial for the newborn animals to receive colostrum within the first 24 hours of life, because the gut then closes and the antibodies from the mom are no longer able to be absorbed.
Let me add a little thing since I'm your partner. That's a terrible name, gut closure. I mean, that's what everybody says. So somehow you have this picture of the gut closing its lumen or something. That's the farthest thing from truth. What it is, there's special cells that line the wall of the intestinal tract. And for about the first 24 hours, they will take in intact antibodies and put them into the blood. Okay? And then after about 24 hours or so, they lose that ability, and therefore after that point, that's called gut closure, when those cells no longer uptake the antibody. Because that's a lousy name because you figure something closing. But after that point, then they're just digested like any protein that you would eat.
Yeah, because of course antibodies are big, so the normal
they can't get in through. And then one more thing. Remember I said about 24 hours, but it varies. So if a newborn animal doesn't get colostrum right away, that closure tends to be later. It's kind of Mother Nature's way of saying, okay, I'll wait a little longer for you. If the animal gets colostrum right after birth, really quickly, then the gut closure happens sooner. It's really kind of neat how that can be varied. Partner, take it away.
So colostrum is also used in the treatments of various things such as upper airway infections, prevention of infectious diarrhea, and as well as the flu for humans, I guess. And I've also seen that it's also used in horses somewhat. So here we have you see it comes in a powder, and there's a pill form and injectable.
Now, I know that product on the left, is that for cattle? You know what I mean? Or are these, because all those human supplements, people do crazy things. Are you talking about human uses?
These are human uses.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and since colostrum is so important, it's often like gathered and stored. So, colostrum can be gathered from a mother that loses her baby due to non-disease reasons, taken small amounts from numerous mothers that produce more than what is needed, or like the last method would be to like get it from another farm, but that's like the method that it's like least likely to be done since you don't know what's at the other farm or anything
But if
like
it's
that.
nearby, it's probably got a lot of the same stuff
Yeah.
that your herd has.
So if you're going to refrigerate colostrum, it should be done at 30 to 35 degrees Celsius, and the colostrum will last for about a week. It can also be frozen, and to thaw the colostrum, it should be evenly heated using warm and not hot water, since
And
you don't,
never a microwave.
yeah, since you don't kill off the important antibodies.
You denature those proteins, yes.
So
Okay,
these are my sources.
yes. And, pretty. So now we're ready for questions. Any questions for Brianna? Now, there are instruments you can get to measure the quality of colostrum. And if you had a mom give birth and she's got very poor colostrum, then you would get some out of the freezer that you know is good, that you've tested. And you can store colostrum in a freezer for about 6 months. And if you go past that, I would still use it, right? It's not like it's best by 6 months, but 2 more weeks aren't going to make, any difference.
Yeah.
And then go back to that human bottle stuff. The picture on the far left was lyophilized milk powder. You can lyophilize colostrum. That means you basically freeze dry it, and then it lasts longer. Antibodies are incredible. Now this is a mixed product, so it'd be like milk, colostrum that was freeze dried. When I had an endocrinology lab, I had antibodies in the freezer that were lyophilized, like say anti-LH antibodies that we got from some great people from Colorado State. Do you know what? They were still good after 20 years. 20 years in a freezer in a powder form. And then you reconstitute it with water, and they're going to be working. It's amazing. But you can't do that with a freezer because then it's a mixed product. It's not like pure antibodies. So, this has got the minerals and everything like that. And the other thing about colostrum, it tends to be a laxative.
Mm.
And it gets rid of meconium,
It's the first poop.
the first poop. It's good to get rid of the first poop because it needs to get out of the way so your gut can absorb nutrients. Other questions, comments? That's a fantastic topic. Brianna, good. We'll give everybody applause at the end of the class. And we'll do it soft so we don't scare.